Our last question, and then I'm going to double back at the very end to a piece that I forgot to ask, but uh, adding on to just a caregiver, obviously now there's at least one child, maybe more, they're present as well. So, how do you recommend families balance caring for other children while managing family responsibilities and then ensuring that the mom is getting the adequate support that she needs? And Jeanette, you can take that one.
Yeah, I just want to start by saying this is such a real and common concerns. Families are often doing their best to hold everything together. You have other kids, you have meals to plan, school drop-offs, recitals, concerts if you're still doing it, appointments. So all of this while trying to support someone who's struggling and maybe feeling overwhelmed, and that can cause the caregiver to be overwhelmed as well. So one thing I always recommend is or remind families first and foremost is you're not supposed to do this alone, as we mentioned. So I often ask, who's in your circle? Are there friends, relatives, or members of your community or faith community that can step in on your behalf for practical things like childcare, cooking, transportation? And one thing you can do is actually make a list of all the things that you would like help with and start filling in the holes of which person in my life could do this. Is it my neighbor from across the street, or is it my friend from down the road? Or, what I'm saying? You can fill people in to really take over those things. One other thing I encourage families to think about is tag team caregiving. So this might look like a partner or a grandparent focusing on the other kids for a bit, while someone else, maybe like a doula or like a postpartum visitor, spends time with the mom, checking in, helping with baby care, and giving the mom a chance to rest. Um, and another thing is, let's not forget that support can be simple. So, like we've been saying, holding the baby while mom has a shower, bringing over a meal, asking how she's doing, checking in on her, that's all support. And that can really go a long way with mom. Um, Another thing I would say is if a birthing parent is already connected to a mental health professional, caregivers can actually help make sure that these appointments are prioritized. So even if that means rearranging schedules to make sure that mom can make that appointment, that means a world of difference. And if they're not already connected to a mental health professional, the caregiver can help find those resources and find a time that fits within the multiple, different avenues you may be pulled with other kids. Um, Another thing, and it depends on the family if they're open to it, but I do encourage talking to the older kids about what's going on if they're old enough to understand, and always doing it in a way that they can understand it. And so that may look like the caregiver or partner explaining that mom is having a hard time right now. She's getting the support that she needs, and reminding them that what you see or what may be happening is not their fault, is no one's fault, and that we're all working through this together. So really taking a team approach.
I'm going to add on to what to talk with the kids about, which not only is it not their fault, but it is not their responsibility to make her feel better or cheer her up or be extra good. And also really normalizing this happens to a lot of women after they give birth. It's, kind of part of the process, and it can be really hard, but, we know what to do just so that they know, I mean, sometimes I almost wish that people knew. I mean, first of all, having a hard time after a baby is born, isn't that everyone, right? We should somewhat almost shift, if it doesn't happen, great, but we should all be ready, and maybe even ahead of time. Sometimes moms after they deliver, can have a period where they're feeling really down, or just it can be really rough, and we don't know if that's going to happen to mom, but if so, it's okay. We'll get her the help she needs, and it's not anything for you to have to worry about. I also think sometimes it's helpful to check in with mom about what she once. And sometimes I've heard moms be like, sometimes I want to break from the baby and I want to be able to go hang out with my other kids who I haven't been able to see in a while. So if she'd like to watch cartoons with some of the kids, and have somebody else take care of the baby, where she wants to drive so-and-so to soccer practice because that's what she used to do and she hasn't been able to do that, really giving mom flexibility if she can. Again, this is where the the ability to take food from a bottle can be helpful, can really allow her to be like, oh, I haven't lost this whole life that I used to have. I can still find ways to do the things that used to bring me joy, or to, so really giving her some agency over what her role is, and not just assuming it has to be with the baby all the time.